Hello and welcome to another episode of I Am South African, coming to you from the ANN7 studios right here in Midrand. I'm your host, Ulisani Ravele. A lament heard by every generation is, what's the matter with today's kids? The idea that the current generation is somehow deficient compared to those of the past echoes throughout history. Is this notion really true about our youth though? Should young people wait until they're older to take up leadership roles in politics or even in society? Yes, we have seen some young people taking really great strides to impact our nation. But in the same breath, there's a saying that says youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But the good thing is that our youth have dismissed that notion and seem to say that they are indeed today's leaders. We have seen youth rising up to greater heights in all spheres of life, from politics to entertainment to activism, even to science and technology. Their young minds have proven to come in handy in a model society. In today's show, we go deeper into how youth have been able to influence the world around them. We've lined up a host of young people who have made a great impact in South Africa in politics as well as in activism. First up though, we went out into the streets to find out what the young people think about politics. Do young people even care about politics? Let's have a look.
I think young South Africans do care about politics, especially in the world that we're growing up in currently, where young people are the ones that are taking initiative and are moving the world forward all over, more or less, not even South Africa, but throughout the whole continent and throughout the whole world. I think that young people are the ones that are at the forefront of different industries. So politics, one of the industries, I think is also important that young people do care about.
I don't think they care enough as they should. I think that they've become very desensitized to politics as a whole, and I think they're not socially invested enough in political decisions and the politics within our country.
I think it depends from person to person, but certainly the majority of the youth and certainly the people that I surround myself with, I think they do care about politics because they realize that the decisions that are made today are ultimately going to affect us and our children tomorrow, and we'd all like to form a part of those decisions because we realize how important they are. So yeah, I think the majority of the youth does care about politics in this country.
Definitely do think that young people care, but it's just that they don't know how to express that. They don't know what to do after caring. They do care because it is our country as well, but they feel that they can't do anything about it. Because if you're below 18, you can't vote, and they feel that's the only way you can be involved in politics.
Yes, I think that young people do care about politics, but perhaps they're misinformed, so they don't really know who to vote for and why they should vote for them. They kind of just follow after what everyone else says they should, you know, but they definitely do care about politics.
They do to a certain degree. I'm not sure how actively involved they get, but they do obviously care about the election results and what impact they have on their lives. I know they read some of the newspapers and stuff, and some of the politicians do provide comic relief every now and then for them, but they do care about it, yeah.
Well, that seems to have some mixed reactions, but you know what? I think overall it's a good thing that young people actually do have an opinion on politics, whether it be negative or positive, whether they're involved or not. Young people do seem to care about what is happening in our country. After all, we are now joined by one of the youngest politicians in South Africa's history. At 24 years and 5 months to be precise, Honorable Yusuf Kasim is the DA Member of Parliament. Mr. Kasim, welcome to I Am South African.
Good afternoon, Ulisani, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Mr. Yusuf, as a young boy growing up, did you even begin to dream of being a politician?
Not at all. You know, when I looked at my future, it wasn't something that I considered, but it's something that really, when I availed myself going forward, and as I found myself, I then sort of went into politics, but it wasn't something that was planned at all.
All right, let's take a step back, because you actually graduated and you qualified in accountancy. What influenced you or changed your mind to go into politics?
When I entered university at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in 2009, I obviously enrolled in a BCom accounting course, And from there, I got involved in student politics. I founded the DA Students Organization at the time as a response to the way that governance was taking place. And from there, I was elected as an SRC president, and I was able to see and taste firsthand how, even at a small institutional level, how governance can make a difference into the ordinary lives of South Africans and of people. And it was from there that I then took a larger interest in politics in general and made myself available wherever I could in order to make that difference for South Africans more generally.
So I guess you'd say that the politics bug just bit you and you had to give way to it.
You know, it was more of an inspiration, a personal inspiration, and I think I was one of the few people that was able to experience it, you know, in governance as a president in an institutional context. I was able to experience how one can make a difference, and that was really something that captured me and inspired me to go forward and to avail myself.
Yusuf, I must say that's really refreshing to hear. You know, most of the time we don't hear that that's what MPs are all about being inspired to be able to make a difference in their positions. Now, you were recently sworn in as a member of parliament, the youngest in the history of South Africa. Congratulations on that. You're older than all the other politicians. How does it feel to have accomplished this?
I don't think it's an accomplishment per se. I think what I will do in this position, particularly for young people or in my portfolio, for students and for prospective students, will be the real accomplishments that I look forward to. I think what it really means is it's representative of the party that I represent, the Democratic Alliance, that is able to give young people the opportunity to make an offer to South Africans to add value to our political environment and to really acknowledge what you can contribute, not on any other factors, be that on race, gender, religion, or how long you have been around, but rather to be judged on what you can offer, what contribution you can make. And that's why I'm also one of a large collective of young people within the DA caucus that are ready, that are impassioned, and that are coming with ideas to take our country forward.
And to specifically help young people. That's really, really inspiring. Now, can you tell us of your duties in Parliament? What's your day-to-day life like?
Well, there's a number of duties that we do have. Obviously, we have to exercise oversight to make sure that the executive is acting in the best interests of our country and acting in terms of legislation and the job that must be done. We also have a legislative duty and a policy-making duty. One of our immediate duties will be with regards to the budgets and the budget speech and the EPCs, and to ensure that the priorities are right to help ordinary South Africans and to create better opportunities for our fellow South Africans. One of the main issues that I am driving is free higher education for poor qualifying matrics. It is something that the governing party has really neglected, and it gives me an opportunity. It's something that excites me. Having been now for a short period of time in Parliament, I've learned a lot. I've been able to look at many of the reports, and I've already identified many of the gaps that have resulted in the situation that we have today.
Yo, Yusuf, I'm just trying to think. I mean, when I was 24, Parliament wasn't even an option on my book. So, hey, big ups to you. Now, do your peers view you the same way since you were elected into high office?
I believe so. I don't think it's anything different. And in fact, when people call me honorable, I really discourage it, and I don't like to be called that. I think it's something we need to prove ourselves going forward, although we're forced to use that term in the House. I think the reason why many people and many of my peers don't treat me any differently is because they know that whether I'm in Parliament, wherever I may be, I'm here for the same reasons that I was before and that I would be after. And I'm here to fight for the issues that I'm passionate about, the issues that will create opportunities for young people. And I will do that wherever I am. I don't think being a member of Parliament changes that. And I'm still the same person fighting for the same issues, just on a different platform and on a more relevant platform in that.
And I guess on a platform where you actually have a voice. You know, I think a lot of us as young people, you are able to have your views, but you are actually able to translate those views and bring them up in the House, as you were saying, correct?
That is correct. Although, you know, I can give you an example. Yesterday we had a youth debate in the National Assembly, and I made my maiden speech, and I spoke particularly about free higher education and about how we need to give opportunities to young people. But it can be disappointing because the entire debate was undermined. There was no focus on any of the issues by the other political parties. It became an insulting and mudslinging session that wasn't even about the issues itself. So we have a challenge ahead of us. We have a massive task to make sure that all of those that are present can engage with us in the issues and that we can come to constructive solutions to take our country forward.
That's so important, and I'm glad that you actually raised that point, that it's important, I think, for young people as well, as they are watching the parliament, live, as we see the clips coming by, that we see our parliamentarians speaking about the issues instead of just going out of the box. Do you think that young people today care about politics at all?
I think young people do care about politics. I think many young people understand how it will affect them. And I was listening with great interest into the vox pop that you had earlier on your show. But I think the problem is how some of our issues are dealt with can discourage many young people. It discourages me as I sit here today on whether or not we can become passionate about politics. So I don't think it's about interest per se. I think it's about the passion. And it's up to our leaders, all of us that are involved in politics, to ensure that the issues are dealt with in the right way. And I think media has a role to play as well in the way we analyze issues and the way that affects ourselves and our fellow South Africans in our ordinary lives, so that people can become more passionate about politics and not become discouraged about the state of politics within our country.
Would you say that as a member of parliament, you truly do have the power and the ability to bring change? Because I think as you sit on the outside as a young person, maybe watching today even, you have your beliefs, you have your passion, and you really think that you've got the ideas that could move us and the young people of this country forward, but you don't think that you have actual power.
Well, you see, that's the question, because the Constitution gives Parliament a lot of powers, and in recent times, in particular, the executive has assumed that power. So Parliament has been undermined massively when it comes to how we deal with budgets and oversight, when it comes to how we deal with legislation as well. The executive of this country has assumed a lot of that power, and it will be now our tasks as members of Parliament to come together and do the job that the Constitution bestows on us to ensure that we can make a difference in the lives of ordinary people. But ultimately, there are many, many challenges being an opposition MP. And to really bring the change immediately, we need to go into government. And that is our task, and that is our ambition as the Democratic Alliance. We've done it in the Western Cape, and we've shown there where we've implemented our policies. So, for example, opportunity vouchers to help young people start businesses. The results have been phenomenal. But in the interim, we will fight for the issues that we care about and make sure that they can be implemented by the governing party.
Just in closing, what would you say to a young person right now who's watching and listening to you and inspired by the fact that at just 24 years old, you're sworn in as a member of parliament? What are your words of advice and inspiration to them?
My advice would be that when one wants to avail themselves, whether it be in politics or to drive the issues that are important to us, we must always look at our intentions. And the future of our country is going to be based on those intentions. So if we're coming in with the intentions to make a difference, if we know that our intentions have been corrected, then we can avail ourselves at whatever level and serve South Africans. But if we are just going into a particular position just to be in that position, then it would be a major, major mistake, and we need to reevaluate that. It's something I use in my own life. I don't have any ambitions. I've never had an ambition to be in Parliament, or I don't have ambitions to be in any other position beyond this, but my only ambition is to serve South Africans, and wherever that may be, I would be able to do that, and I will continue to do that.
Can I say honorable? I know you don't like it, but it's official that we have to say honorable Yusuf Kasim. Thank you so much for your time. And I really do hope that in 2024, when we're speaking to you again one day, your ideals remain the same and you still stay this inspired person who really is in Parliament to make a difference in people's lives.
Thank you very much. And you know, just in terms of what you were saying last, it's up to South Africans and for myself to encourage South Africans to hold all of us accountable and to hold our government accountable. And if we can do that more effectively, I think that we would make a difference, all of us, to the type of governance and the type of leadership that we have in Parliament going forward.
Wow, what an inspiration. Thank you once again, Honorable MP Kasim, for joining us on I Am South African today. All the best for the future, and we look forward to seeing great things from you. Up next, we're going to be chatting to SA's youngest philanthropist at only 9. We also have other young people who have excelled in their areas of specialization. But before we go there, let's have a look at this quick insert.
Parenting is challenging because every weekend we've basically booked with conservation efforts. So it's quite a challenge from that side, but I feel it's our duty as parents to act as a catalyst to steer them to the career paths that follow them.
She wrote a poem on rhinos where she pretended that she is the rhino and she spoke for the rhino. We've been involved in projects where Amina has related her poem to the public, and the overwhelming response that we had from the youth has been phenomenal.
FIFA came to me with a letter saying that I've got to give this letter to President Jacob Zuma. I still recall it says, "Dear President Zuma, please look after our rhinos." And she signed it, Afifa Patel from Johannesburg, and it was the rhino picture stuck on it. So I sent it to the Times newspaper, and they published it on their blog, on the Facebook blog. And the next thing we know, I received a call from a journalist in the afternoon saying that he was doing an article on the military expansion in the Kruger National Park, and he published Afifa's article. And on the Monday afternoon, he called us back to say that he received a written response from President Jacob Zuma.
They give regular feedback to their teachers and their children, you know, the children in the classes about the rhinos and what happened, what is the latest stats. So they are the news readers, I think, of rhinos in their school.
We are surprised with the accolades. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. Firstly, the first accolade is for President Zuma to have responded to Afifa. And that is the best accolade yet in anyone's life, and in her life, and in her journey. The second accolade is, of course, South African National Parks, recognizing Afifa for creating the impetus, for creating the awareness on rhino poaching.
But I wish that all youth can be inspired and do something that is positive, because these children are our future. And if these children don't have the proper skills and the proper knowledge of how to preserve the heritage, then we've lost a generation. So we need to build it in the youth, and I hope that other youth can be inspired by this.
There's a saying that goes, charity begins at home, but I think with stories of the Patels that we've seen, it begs us to start asking the question, maybe social and political consciousness also begins at home. I am now joined by the two girls who made a mark as activists at a very young age, Afifa and Amina Patel. Welcome to I Am South African, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, they are so cute, my goodness. Now, Afifa, at only 9 years old, you decided to stand up and say, you know what, I have a passion for wildlife and for saving them. Can you tell me how you started falling in love with saving wild animals?
I saw on TV in the newspapers that they were killing the rhinos. So me and my sister Amina decided to write a letter to President Zuma. It was 12th August. To the editor, please tell President Zuma to please look after our rhinos. Afifa Patel, Johannesburg.
And did your love for the rhinos really just say to you, you know what, I need to be doing something? I know I'm young, but I know I can make a difference.
Yes, I do.
Did you think that your letter would get to the president, or that so many people would be asking you for interviews and things like that after you wrote your letter? Or did you think people would just forget about it and only yourself and your family would know about it? You're shy. Don't worry, Afifa. You know what? We're just gonna ease into the things of ease into it, and we're gonna get through this, okay? All right, we're gonna chat to Amina quickly. Amina, you're the elder sister. Now, tell me, how did you feel when your sister was writing this letter? I mean, you probably share a room or you're in the house together, and you're just like, oh, well, I don't think it's really going to make much of a difference. Or were you spurring her on, saying, you know what, I know you're just 9 years old, but I know that this can do something. This can make a difference.
I was very proud of her when she got her first award, the Kudo Award. And I was really happy because when we got that first award, I knew like it's gonna like shine out and like everyone is gonna know, more interviews and people will know. And I'm not only worried about interviews, I'm also worried about children because we need to educate them. Because when I organize a march at Shoshanguve, we marched through the townships and most people never knew what was a rhino. So we had to take out the 10 rand notes and we had to show them, this is a rhino. And yeah.
That's really inspiring. I want to find out from you, Amina, where did your love for rhinos begin? I know there's a story where your parents had taken you to the Kruger Park and you saw firsthand what was happening to the rhino. Can you tell me what you saw that day?
That day, I saw a rhino, and I was really happy when I saw it. And then now, when I was in the Kruger, I asked my parents like, why is there so much of helicopters, game rangers? I was like curious about it. I wanted to know like, why is this? So my parents told me that they're looking for poachers because they're killing our rhinos, and if they kill our rhinos, there won't be any more rhinos left and people will lose jobs. There won't be any 10 rand notes.
And what did you decide to do after you saw that? I know your sister decided to write the letter, but you also started doing stuff on your own to say, you know what, myself as Amina, I know that I can make a difference. I'm a young South African, but I know that my voice can be heard. What did you do?
I wrote a poem titled, Unite Children of the World, a Rhino's Plea, written by Amina Patel. There are not many of me left now. Unite, children of the world, unite. Surely people listen to your calls, as you can make a difference in my fate, as you are the future generation. This may be my last words to you. Shout, scream, write and speak to people that care. I don't know if I will be here tomorrow, so please make the world hear my plea and last words. I am and will always be your very special friend, Mr. Rhino. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Amina. You know, I think a lot of young people sometimes don't think that the words or the poems that they can write can make a difference. But your poem made a difference. I saw it on the Sandparks website. How did that come about? Were you entering a competition that you had to write the poem for?
Yes, and I also won 2 nights at the Kruger National Park. And yeah.
Who did you take on your holiday to the Kruger Park?
I took my family and my granny with.
Now, your parents once showed you a video where a rhino was bleeding and could hardly breathe. Do you remember seeing that video, and how did you feel when you just saw that rhino lying there?
I really felt emotional, and then I saw like I had to do something about it. So yeah, that's when it started.
Afifa, let's come back to you. Do your friends support you at school? Because I know that your love for rhinos didn't just stop at you writing the letter. You're actually also a junior honorary ranger at Sandparks. Do your friends support you at school?
Yes, they do support me.
Do they come to any events that you do, or do you talk a lot about rhinos all the time?
I talk about rhinos all the time.
All the time. And you, Amina, your friends obviously a little bit older. Do they understand when you're explaining exactly what it is that you're doing? Or are they just like, ah, man, Amina, let's go watch a movie, you know, stop about the rhinos now?
No, they really do care, and they're also helping me. And today at break, they told me that, Amina, you're doing a great job, and I've just decided let's collect some money for the rhinos. And then I said, okay, we can start today. And then they were like, okay, super awesome.
That's amazing. Now, you guys are still at school. I know you go to Robertson Primary School, and you still have to balance your schoolwork. You still also do some activities. I know that both of you are involved in Stedford. You sing at the Stedford. How do you balance your school, your after-school activities, and doing all this work that you do for rhinos? Amina?
Um, I, I first make sure that I do my school homework. And surely for the junior honor, we do get work to do, so I mostly do that on Fridays.
Yes?
And I do my poems like every day.
Every day. So you make sure that you first do your schoolwork because you know that's really important first. And then after that, you get to do everything else. What do you guys love to do as sisters together? Do you love to write together or sing together maybe?
We love to write together.
Yeah, I saw when you were reading the poem, Amina, Afifa was also reading along. Have you written many poems, or is this was just the beginning for you?
This was just the beginning for me, but I also trying to write other poems and yeah.
Yes, Afifa, you want to say something? Nothing at all. Now, what's next for you guys? Is there a next big event that you're doing for the rhinos, or will you be visiting the park soon? I know that both of you as honorary rangers, you get to be allowed to go and visit and to go on trips like that. Is anything like that happening soon for you guys?
Yes, we deciding to go to Asia and China.
And you're going to be seeing more rhinos on that side as well and just making your voices heard, right?
No, we're going to tell people to stop killing the rhinos.
I love that. And you guys are taking the message to them because that's also one of the biggest problems, right? If there's no demand and supply for it, I guess then they won't need to be killing the rhinos. Well, you two ladies are very inspiring. And I think what I love the most about you is that you're sisters, you're doing it together and you support each other. And I think we must also say a big thank you to your parents, right, Amina? Because without your parents, none of this happens, correct? They support you a lot.
Yes, they support me and they really stand by me and help me a lot.
Thank you so much to the Patel girls for joining us. Now, after the break, we'll continue chatting to young, inspirational people in South Africa who are making a difference in both politics and socially. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, focus.
Must I look at you?
You or the...
Look at me.
Cool.
Talk to me, the camera will follow you. Okay.
Good luck. Good luck.
Okay. Tabang Ndlovu.
Yeah.
Not Ndlovu. Or is it Ndlovu? Because I see there's no N. Oh, Ndlovu.
There is N.
Just count quickly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4, 5, 6.
Awesome. It's the quickest thing I could think of. welcome back to I Am South African with myself, Ulisani Ravere. Joining me now is Nadav Orson Driver as well as Thabang Ndlovu, two of South Africa's youth who are doing great things for their community. Now, first up to you, Nadav, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Looking dapper, James, looking dapper. I like the look, man. Is this the matric standard? You know, we need to be wearing suits and things like that.
Yeah, I think this is what everyone wears.
Now, Nadav, your selflessness in trying to conserve the community and the environment has led to you being the lead SA youth winner for September. Tell us about all the work that you're doing.
Okay, so basically, I've always really been passionate about wildlife, and you know, as the two guests before, they always go to the Kruger Park, and I also used to. You know, I mean, I still do. It's a bit harder now with the trick, but you know, when I go there, I want to see as much as I can. And you know, when you go there and you stop other cars and ask them if they've seen anything. And, you know, after a while, my parents got irritated at me asking them to stop all these cars. So I was thinking, why not make an easier way of getting sightings? And that's what I did. I was 15 at the time, so I was on school holiday. I didn't really have to worry about school or anything like that. So when I got home, I basically looked on Google and YouTube. I typed how to make an app, how to make a website.
Are you serious?
And yeah, that's basically how I did it. And my idea was just a way for everyone to be able to share their sightings live with other people. And you know, so if you're in the area and there's a sighting right next to you, you can go and see it. You know, if there's a lion 5 kilometers from you, you can go and see it. And I guess
it's just an app that people are able to connect to on their mobile phones as well as on their computers. But
yes,
one of the most amazing things about your website and your app is the fact that it's not just for sightings, it's also helping the rangers.
Yeah.
Tell us how it's helping the rangers.
So yeah, I mean, when I first started this, my vision was basically just everyone sharing their sightings. But after it started and after people were sharing so much, the amazing outcome of it was also being able to protect wildlife. And you know, when someone sees an injured wild dog or a wild dog with a snare around its neck or any endangered animal, you know, rangers are also part of this app, and Sandpark vets are also part of this app, and they get these notifications live. And you know, through these sightings, they manage to go out and save these animals. And I mean, wild dogs are only about 200 left in Kruger, and through the community sharing their sightings, we've managed to protect 7 of them. We've also, you know, managed to save leopards, lions, and cheetahs, and all different animals like that.
That are in distress and in pain, or otherwise it would have taken longer for the rangers to actually find out, is Lolo the leopard okay wherever they are? But with people like you and your apps.
There's also a story about Grant Beverly. He runs the Wild Dog Project in the Kruger. And he told me how, like 2 years ago, he used to rely on wild dog sightings on the radio or in the newspaper. And, you know, he had to collar a pack of wild dogs. And it took him so long, like months.
Wow.
And this year, he needed to pack another pack of he needed to collar another pack of wild dogs.
Yeah.
And it took him 2 days, just because the community, you know,
they could tell him exactly where the wild dogs are.
And yeah, for me, that's what I really love about being able to run this community, is being able to help, you know, the people are saving these animals.
By doing something that you love, and that's so important. Yeah. Another thing that you do that's really great, Nadav, is not only are you passionate about wildlife and the environment, but when Shingwedzi was affected by floods and the staff had nothing, they had no food, no clothing, you raised thousands of rands for them to be able to be helped. Tell me how it goes through your mind from the moment you're like, there's someone in trouble, what can I do to help, and where did you begin to start collecting everything?
Okay, so basically on latestsightings.com, you know, we get lots, like thousands of animal photos. And during last year when there was a flood, you know, we started getting, you know, not photos of animals, we got photos of the destruction of the floods. And, you know, I suddenly just thought to myself, you know, the Kruger National Parks has done so much to change my life. I really want to pay it back.
Yeah.
And I saw how all the staff, as you said, in Shingwedzi were evacuated, and they lost everything. They lost their clothes, their homes,
everything.
And you know, I wanted to try and help them back. You know, after they've helped me so much. And you know, we started a flood relief, and you know, we only ran it for a week because we wanted to help them as quick as possible. And after a week, through the power of social media, we collected over 100,000 rand and 1,000 kilograms worth of food, clothing, and you know, and beddings and stuff like that. And but we had a problem because I did it at my school, which is King David, and we didn't know how to get all the stuff from our school to
everyone
the
at Shingwedzi. Yeah.
So what was incredible was Land Rover South Africa. they heard about this and they were so happy to help, because I mean they're also already involved with the Wild Dog Project. And they knew about this, and they gave us 14 Land Rovers, and we
for you
filled it
guys
up.
to be able to collect everything
Yeah,
and get it to where you needed to get it to.
And it was amazing because we managed to fill it up right to the top. I mean, there was no space for anyone. And the next morning, we drove from our school to the Kruger, to Shingwetsi.
Yeah.
And with also the help of Oni Rangers and England Sand Parks, and to see the faces of these staff, like, it was the most amazing feeling. And also that just showcases the power of social media nowadays.
The human spirit and social media. That is so true. Now, also joining me here in the studio, I've got my man Tabang Uringfen.
I'm good.
He is 17 years old, and he is a pupil who is the leader of his outreach program at his school, and he's done amazingly, because already at just 17 he's done an impressive 258 hours of outreach and service to the Akani Aftercare Center in Diepsloot. Tabang, that's amazing. You are giving of your time and your hours to be able to help the kids in Diepsloot by helping them with their homework and other after school activities. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so our school does outreach program, and as of this year I've become the leader of that program. And so every Tuesday we go through to Akani, which is a daycare center for students from grade 0 to 7, and it's completely free. They're sponsored by donations from different areas, and basically the staff that's there are also volunteers. They go and just look after the children. So then we started going, and our idea was to help them out with their schoolwork in order to give them a chance to better themselves and to get ahead in life, so that they can advance forward and just work this. Sorry.
Yeah.
So basically, when we go on Tuesdays, we go and do math or English work with them. We help them with their homework. Help them practice for any tests. On different days, we go and do board games with them, so teach them how to do logic skills via chess, checkers. We also go and do arts and craft with them, so we help them knit blankets for like the winter. We took a basket of wool, needles, and we started knitting with them. We do beads for summer, just something fun. And then we also do other activities at our school base.
Yeah.
For instance, on Thursdays, we do creche days, which is where we get a creche coming in from Cosmo City, because they have a very small area. So we wanted to bring them over to our school where we play games with them.
And
like,
it's a big
really
area where you
get
can
them
just
to play
have
on the jungle
fun
gym,
and be
just
a kid.
Go crazy. So that's really fun.
Tabang, it sounds like you're running an army where you are, because you're teaching them board games, you are playing all these things with them so that they can improve their logic skills, you're helping them with their homework, you're knitting blankets. How many of you are there on this team?
Well, the actual outreach committee, it's me I have a very good team of about 3 people, but then I also have like my matric friends who are always coming and like always giving of their time.
Yeah.
And then we just get volunteers from the school itself. We always have a packed bus of 20 to 40 people. We always have people who just want to help out and go and just show their support to helping people.
Tabang, is this where your life is headed for you, in service and upliftment and the betterment of other people in life? Or is it something that, I mean, because you could be playing sport, you could easily be on the rugby team, the hockey team. I don't know if you play any sport, and if you do, how do you balance it all?
Well, I don't play sport, but workload, when I've come to a trick, I've realized that work and like having to organize projects is hectic. However, what I've realized is when you enjoy something, that the amount of stress that you feel isn't really that significant, where you actually enjoy going out and helping these kids.
Yeah.
In terms of what I plan to do with outreach as a future career, I do plan to study. However, at the university, I really want to get involved with any of their outreach programs. And if they don't have any, I want to create my own.
Wow.
And working on teaching people how to do math, English, science. So.
What I'm guessing and getting to here, Tabang, and what I'm getting from you is that education is very important to you. What do you believe the power of education is for a young person in South Africa today?
I believe the power of education is very strong. From basic math ability, like learning how to do your finance so that you can live in life and build a stable future, as well as to different English skills, like how to communicate with people, as well as education in politics. That's a very big part of South Africa, because students need to know they need to understand the political system, and they need to know what's happened in our past, why things are as they are, and
how you can make them better. That's amazing. Tabang, Nadav was speaking about his app and his website, latestsightings.com, right? And how it helps people to be able to navigate a lot easier around the Kruger. But most importantly, he's able to help the rangers to identify animals that are in distress and in need. So he's able to see the impact. You know, I think with any project, you need to see some measurability and see, okay, I helped this one person. Have I actually helped them? Did they go to where they need to be? Has their life improved in any way? What's the difference that you've seen in the kids at Akani Center?
Cardi, I definitely think they've gotten better in terms of their reading and just basic math activities, and that's why I really enjoy going to Akani, because like you get the sense of you are doing something, and the sense of gratitude that the kids give to you. Like every time I enter, everyone knows who you are, and like they want to just talk to you, or like they're really happy to go and learn with you. Yeah. So that's really something that I think
it's important to
me.
Tabang, Nadav, both of you have spoken about how the thing that really drives you and makes you feel like, I know I did it, is the gratitude. Nadav, you were speaking about when it was the flood time at Chingwezi and you saw the looks on the faces of the staff, how that made it all worthwhile. Is that really all that makes it worthwhile? We'll start with you, Nadav.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, being in matric, it's really hard to juggle so much work.
Yeah.
And also running this whole app. I mean, in the community, there are over 100,000 people, so it's a lot of work. But the only thing that's really gotten me through, and not giving up, saying, oh no, that's too much now.
I'm tired now. I can't anymore.
Yeah, literally the only thing that's really kept me going is seeing how we connect the people who share their sightings to actually protecting the animals, and that's what I really love about it. And I can't wait till when we expand to other game reserves, more animals, you know, will be able to be protected, and that's exactly what's kept me through, and I think it is, you know, it's an amazing feeling.
Tabang, gratitude is enough for you from these kids?
I definitely agree. Like, also just seeing them progress, is knowing that you've done something to help them is very much what makes me want to do outreach, just to not only better myself, but also to better the people around me. So I very much believe in that.
Lastly, very quickly, do you guys think that the youth of South Africa are doing enough to make a difference in people's lives?
Well, I don't know if there's ever like enough. Like there can always still, you know, be a lot to do. But like if I take my school for example, every Friday in assembly, there's always like lots of students being called up for the
great work that they're doing,
for the charitable thing that they're doing that week.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are so many people out there
who are
doing stuff, and it's really amazing to see. And also often when I'm like after a talk or a speech, you know, all these children come up and they say how
they're commending you on your work, and I guess that makes it even more worthwhile for you.
Yeah, and I mean not only that, how they tell me how they now also going out and trying their best to
be inspired by you,
save rhinos, or you know, do what they follow what they really love. And so I have seen a lot of people, you know, youth today, going out and doing what they love and trying to make the world a better place. So.
Awesome. Nadav, from you, just in closing.
I completely agree. My experience is this Easter holiday, I went to a service conference and it blew me away. There were 4 schools and a university, and it was told about 100 students. They were just there to talk about what they've done in terms of service, and to encourage other people and give other people ideas in what they can do in order to better their community around them. That was the whole theme around the entire conference, just bettering everyone around us as well as the community. So I definitely believe South Africans are able to make a difference.
Thanks, guys. You're not going just yet. I'm still going to be talking to you afterwards. It's just so amazing to hear such young people with such energy and chutzpah to just want to make a difference. I'm literally getting goosebumps. We still have other inspirational stories coming from the young, politically and socially conscious. Young people have defined their role models, and those they feel have done exceptionally well to influence others. Let's hear what some pupils have to say about this.
there's a lot of young people making a difference in our country. I think Melinda Bam is one of the people who stand out to me as someone who's making a difference in our country, as well as Nelson Mandela and all our political leaders. I also think teens are taking a stand in our country, like the Joburg Junior Council and various other forms.
If I had to pick one, I'd say Musi Maimane, because he's obviously part of the youth still, and he finds himself in the National Assembly, and he's able to grapple with daily challenges that the country faces, and he's able to make an impact on them.
One person that I think made a difference is a girl by the name of Nicole Kitching. And she began an initiative to stop crime in South Africa, which is really important. And she struck a lot of people, and she brought about awareness for it. And that is very important to make sure that people know about the problems and, you know, can step up and make a difference.
There were a group of artists who started the musicians, who started the Shout campaign. And it was basically just to raise awareness about violence and women abuse and child abuse in our country. So I think they did make a statement out there, especially through media. Media is a very useful tool to raise awareness.
Oh, my first person to think of is DJ Smooth, Leo, DJ, former DJ, still doing DJing, but now he's involved in philanthropy, he's involved in mentorship, he's involved politically as well at rallies, getting people to support.
Young people are not only tomorrow's leaders, but I really do believe that they are today's leaders. 17-year-old Sbusiso Mutleno is one such leader who is making a difference. Sbusiso, welcome to I Am South African.
Thank you for
all the way
me.
from Alex Butwam,
Yes.
but you're on the corner. Sbusiso Angele, you have a project called Get High on Education and Not on Drugs and Alcohol.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that project and what it entailed and what you achieved?
So basically, there is an initiative which revolves around the youth. Yes, there's this stigma which lies among ourselves, more especially the students, or rather should I say the learners, in grade 10, 11 and 12, whereby you'd find most of us saying, you know what, I'm high. Obvious, whenever somebody tells you that he or she's high, it's obvious. It's either dacha or alcohol. But now, coming up with this initiative, we're trying to change the stigma. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm high on education, I'm high on alcohol and drugs. Let me just be high on education, of which is something which is exceptional within the community and in fact within Alex as a whole.
So what did you do with your project? I know that the campaign was called Get High on Education. Were you going out there giving talks at different schools? Because I know you're a motivational speaker, nyana.
Wow.
No pressure.
Yeah. It was outstanding. It was outstanding. And one thing that is so phenomenal about this initiative is that instead of just having like the well-known guys, you know, CC, we tend to go for like the underdogs. Buspuso Molteno, my fellow brothers and sisters, my peers and all that. Just doing like a one-on-one talk instead of having the celebs. Just because we do believe that if I can talk to my fellow brothers and sisters, I can relate very well instead of just having someone who's successful who doesn't know what to go through each and every single day.
Because I look like you. I live where you live. I've done what you have done, and I think that you can believe my story. Well, on that line then, can I ask you a personal question and ask, were you formerly one of those students that were high on alcohol and drugs and you decided to take a turn for the better?
Not at all. But, yes, not at all. But in fact, you know what, I was born in a ghetto. So yes, alcohol and drugs were always there. But I can't say much about that just because I haven't tested any drug or any alcohol of some sort.
And that's a hard decision to make, Sbusiso, because you see young people around you. It's the cool thing to do. It's the in thing to do. Yes. For you to start a program that is completely the other way, saying don't do it, don't you get a lot of flack from other kids saying, "Ay man, Sbusiso, I'll see
you know what, it happens a lot, but it depends on who you are. And if you're one person who has a mission and a vision, then nothing will ever stop you in life. But if ever you're someone who just do something just because of you need to please somebody or some sort, then you're not going anywhere in life or you don't have any direction. But if you have a direction or if you have a vision and also a mission, then all those negative things will turn them into to be positive stuff. You know what, sometimes you get people saying, "Not our Spuda, you think you're all God and all that, you think you're almighty and some sorts." But I always tell them one thing, that you know what, in life you have to be unique. You have to deviate. irrespective of wherever you come from. Just be unique. Even
Stand
if you are
out.
from Alex, but just be unique. That's who I am.
Now, you were crowned the Lead SA Gauteng Youth Hero. Congratulations on that
Thank
for
you
the
very
month of
much.
April.
Thank you very much.
What keeps you going?
Yo, a lot of things. But my teachers at school, my peers, but above all, I think it's my mother. Just because of she's been with me through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's her. That's it. And I do believe that if it wasn't for her, maybe I wouldn't be here today. So I think that's, in fact, for me, I personally do believe that what keeps me going, it's my mother, above everything else.
To wrap it all up, and a question to all of you, Thabang, Nadav, and Sbusiso, what is your message to another young person who is sitting there at home and is like, it's just me. What can I do? Let's start with you, Sbusiso.
The sky is the limit. Life is like a freeway. You decide. It's either you move in a fast lane or in a slow lane or in a medium lane. So it is up to you, but the sky is the limit. Irrespective of where you come from, look at me, I'm from Alex.
Yeah.
But now, given this life opportunity, you know what, but at the end of the day, it's all about you. If you know what you want in life, your background doesn't determine your future. It's all about what you want in life. So if ever you know that you have the inner greatness, I do believe that each and every one of us has the inner greatness. Just showcase it. The world is ours.
Wow, that's got me a bit teary-eyed, Sbusiso. I love what he's saying about how where you come from has no impact on where your life is going to end up. Nadav, what would you say?
Well, one thing that I've learned, this whole time is that people are really attracted to passion. And what I find is whenever I've seen people are passionate about something, they don't really care what other people think.
Yeah.
They just go out and do it. And even for me, like I've always really been passionate about wildlife. And when I started this, I didn't think people would go on, but I love doing it. And I think people saw that, and that's why they were attracted to it. And I mean, I've seen it with so many other people. And my message is, if you're really passionate about something, just go out and do it, and don't let other people try and bring you down. Just go out and do it.
Also sitting here with Thabang, who is also a matriculant student, and he's the leader of his outreach program at his school. Thabang, a young person who looks like you, who is going out like you do, has got matric also to handle, but here you are doing something about something. What do you want to say to that young person?
I would say just go out and help an individual. You don't need to go and help a big group of people. Helping one person change their life is just as satisfactory. And from that, you can start to advance and go into bigger groups. So just think about it. If you think you can help a single person, just go out and do it.
Do you guys believe that you have to be rich to make an impact? Should we start with Thabang?
Yes.
Thabang, do you think that you have to be rich to make an impact? Where do you start when you've got nothing?
In terms of what I do, I don't think you need to be rich, but I really focus on trying to teach people in education. So therefore,
it doesn't really need money, is what you're saying.
It doesn't need money. It just needs you to go out and just try and just get to know a person. Actually, just try and take them out to somewhere that they haven't been. Just try and help them if they have any struggles or any problems through life.
Nadav, do you need to be rich to make a difference?
I really don't think so at all. I mean, I started on Twitter and Facebook, which is all free, and everyone can use it.
Yeah.
And even my website, those free URLs which have something.blogspot.com. I mean, you also have to pay for that.
That's how you started, yeah.
And I also relied on the support of others. To make an iPhone app, you needed Mac, and I didn't have a Mac, so I just borrowed one from a friend. And I mean, I really think that you don't have to be rich at all. You just have to have the drive to do it.
Sbusiso, I think this one hits a little bit closer to home for you, growing up in an area where a lot of people think nothing is happening, but there are young, inspiring people like yourself who are doing amazing things with nothing.
It's for me, I think it's a big fat no. Because you know what, there's one thing that I always emphasize, especially to my peers, the inner greatness, irrespective of whatsoever. For as long as you have the inner greatness, you don't need to be rich, but for as long as you have the inner greatness. That is one of the important elements of life, the inner greatness.
Inner greatness. Guys, you've been phenomenal and amazing. Thank you so much for coming on I Am South African. I really hope that your stories and your projects have inspired young South Africans out there to say, you know what, age ain't nothing but a number. Thanks, guys. The ANN7 Saty 2014 campaign is in full swing, and I cannot wait for September to come when the South African of the Year Awards happen. To find out more about the campaign, let's meet another two of our awesome masterminds.
Well, my name is Matata Tsedu, and I am the Executive Director of the South African National Editors Forum. It is of a mastermind. It's really to look big and sound very intelligent, but at the same time also provide leadership around the selection process, choosing the committees that are going to make part of the selection of the nominees for these awards. For the selection process of committee members, the masterminds will be looking at expertise and integrity of the people concerned. The committees will be responsible for part of the selection of the nominees, whereas the rest will also come from the public who will be voting. The category I'm most excited about is philanthropy, which is really the category that deals with people who give their all for the less privileged. Saty 2014 as a starting point promises to be a process that will encourage a lot of South Africans to do good, which is really what life is about.
The countdown is indeed on. We can't wait for September and to get all those awards action and the buzz happening, and of course the nomination process to start very soon. Keep it locked to Eye on Saty, because that's where we give you all the information that you need to know about Saty 2014. It's been an amazing and inspiring show, and I really hope that every young South African watching this today has taken home the fact that you are the leader of today, not even tomorrow. You're never too young to start making a difference to the lives of the people around you and even greater areas. So thank you so much for joining me today. And remember that you can tweet your questions and your comments as well as your opinions to @ANN7TV using the hashtag #IamSouthAfrican or hashtag Saty2014. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll see you again this coming Friday.